My dear friends, here, Steve is here. Okay. My dear friends, is this working, brother? Okay. Okay. Okay, everything's working, so I guess let's do a 1 or 2 ohms. Deep breath. One more. So my dear friends, a very, very heartfelt welcome to you on a very special day. So what I'm going to do is ring this bell as is customary, and as I always say, the moment you hear the vibrations, you are glued to your seats until the program is over. Unless you have a great need to go to the, as I always say also, to the sanctuary of release, right there, straight ahead. Okay, my friends, here we start. Great. So once again, my dear friends, a very, very heartfelt welcome to you. Today is a very special day. First of all, shall I say, it's typical, untypical Seattle weather. It's lovely out there with the sunshine and etc. Spring is here. That's one. Number two, it's a very special day because after this service, we have our sacred annual retreat, which Brother George and Sister Joey have really worked so, they put their heart and soul into making this really very meaningful and very joyous. So please, if you can, at 12 o'clock we have, I think it starts at 12, the retreat. 11:30 we have a delicious lunch, don't miss the lunch. And after that we have this sacred 2025 retreat happening downstairs. Okay, and I must tell you, today is a very special day for a lucky lad like me. It's Eid. What does Eid mean? Anybody know? Yes, but the word actually means festival. Today is the day of festivities when no more fasting. We can now just gorge ourselves with food and drink. So I think you fasted the entire month also, yes. So for myself, for Sally Jo, I don't know who else has been fasting, but several people in our community have been fasting, so today is the day of real Eid, which means fasting. And just to tell you, Eid means celebration. Sorry, Eid means celebration. What I meant was Ramadan means many things. It's the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, and it also means the practice of purification, Ramadan. And quickly, why do Muslims fast in the month of Ramadan? Because it was in that month, in the year 610 CE, that the first verses of the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad when he was meditating in the cave. To express gratitude, we don't know on which day of the month it actually happened that the verses were revealed. Muslims enter into a period of purification. Okay, that's the end of my sermon. So, Sally Jo, here you are.
Thank you, Jamal, and welcome, everybody. My name is Sally Jo. I want to introduce Alessi, who's going to invite our ancestors and honor our first people this morning. And I do want to mention that I got a call last night. Lila is back in the hospital, briefly, we hope. Had a problem with her treatment last night, but she called me. She thinks she'll be out soon. But let's say a little prayer for them, because I was hoping, Chris was going to do the honoring our ancestors, and so I just want to think of them as we notice their absence and pray for Lila's return to health again very soon. Thank you, Alessi, for offering both our ancestors and our honoring our first people.
Thank you, Sally Jo. Good morning, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alessi. I use they, them pronouns. And I wanted to take a second to invite our ancestors into the space, ancestors of blood and of spirit. Last night, I was reading Ovid's Fasti. He's a Roman bard from many, many years ago. And he had some comments on Venus, the goddess of love in the Roman tradition, as a creator, viewing creation as a product of love. And so in addition to inviting our ancestors into this space, I want to invite the love of community and family that they have had that connects us to them and that we have today. And then in addition, I wanted to honor our first people. This land is the traditional land of the Duwamish tribe, the tribe from which the city of Seattle gets its name from Chief Seattle. And many Duwamish tribe members are enrolled in other tribes, but the tribe itself does not have federal recognition. So for those of you who would like to help support them, you can go to realrentduwamish.org to support their efforts. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Alessi. And I would like to take a moment to make an offering for the Divine Feminine. This is also one of our traditions here at ICS, and we have our little altar up there where we light a special candle. And in my belief system and in my opinion, really, I feel that honoring the Divine Feminine is really a matter of seeking balance, seeking to come into better balance in our lives, in our community, and in our world. It's not about divine feminine versus divine masculine, or that it's any kind of a competition between how we talk about God, about whom we can't really talk anyway, right? Most of us acknowledge that the concept of the divinity is way too big and way too all-comprehensive to even be discussed. In the Jewish tradition, they don't even use a word for that concept. But in my mind, it's a matter of seeking balance in the world. And therefore, I turned this morning to the Taoist scripture, where I always go when I need balance, which is often in my own life. And I'd like to read a passage from the Tao Te Ching. I think I'll sit down, because I'm probably going to drop something if I don't. Okay. It's called Finding Unity. And that's, again, when we find balance, we find unity. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. Stop up the openings. Close down the doors. Rub off the sharp edges. Unravel all confusion. Harmonize the light. Give up contention. This is called finding the unity of life. When love and hatred cannot affect you, profit and loss cannot touch you, praise and blame cannot ruffle you, you are honored by all the world. Amen. Well, very good. So I'd like to invite Steve Kramer up, if he wants to come up to the dais here to offer some beautiful flute music to get us all kind of into that mood of unification. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, that one's not. Oh, no, it is. Okay.
He probably wants it down. For
No,
his flute.
that's it off.
Yeah, because he's not
Oh, I see. Oh, you can leave it out. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Steve. Oh, beautiful. Perfect. Perfect for our service today. So I want to begin today with a few words of my own before we go into meditation, and then later we're going to do some small group chatting. And being the fifth Sunday of the month, which only comes every third or fourth month throughout the year, it drops in a fifth Sunday. And this is the Sunday where traditionally now, over the past couple of years, we have taken the time to, as a community, go deeper into our discernment, our annual discernment for the year, which I'll review here in a minute, and also of the month of March. And we have a special theme every month which follows our discernment and kind of develops it through the year. And again, the discernment is a way for us to kind of gather our thinking together, our contemplations, our meditations, our study of interfaith understanding, and apply it to a theme that we feel will resonate with the people who come here, and a theme that has both inner and outer meaning to us, we hope. That's usually the goal. And that has an interfaith timbre to it, you know, that it has the fragrance of interfaith. And our theme for this year is an invitation to come together in community to experience transformation. So an invitation for transformation in community. And at the back of your service, if you turn to that, we're working, we think of sanctuary as something we are creating in our own lives together, in our inner landscape, individually, and as a community. We're creating a sense of sanctuary. And today we're going to be asking you all to go a little more deeply into this concept of sanctuary. And we've had some wonderful, the first 3 months of the year for me have been very exciting, because we're hearing from so many different perspectives on what this concept of sanctuary might actually mean. You know, a really important word has layers of meaning to it. And it's good to explore the layers of meaning, because as we go through our lives, the meaning will shift. And hopefully we'll gain insight, we'll gain ideas, and we'll be able to create our own sense of sanctuary in community. For the month of January, we worked on the concept of sanctuary of inclusion. In February, we talked about sanctuary for the divine. And in March, we're focusing on sanctuary for transformation. So that's our theme for March, and we've had some wonderful presentations all 3 months. And we've heard from quite a few different people about how they consider the concept of transformation. And if you've been coming, you've heard from Zach and George, members of our community, about how they have created sanctuary in their own lives. We heard from our guest speaker, Saqib, who gave a wonderful talk about what it means to transform in community and what gets in our way. So we've had some ideas about that. I'd like to share just a few ideas that have come up to me as we've been studying this. And as I do share, I'm going to ask you to be thinking about if you've been coming and you've heard some of these speakers, what has resonated with you, and what are you thinking about when you think about sanctuary? Now, and of course, transformation is another one of those big words that changes its meaning as we go through it, right? And so sanctuary of transformation is like double whammy this month. So I want to begin by asking you to think for a minute. When did you first hear that word sanctuary? When did the concept come into your vocabulary? Let's all sit and think for a minute, if you can remember when you ever heard about that word, first of all. Now, for me, it's real easy, because I was quite young. I was about 9 years old when my parents sent me to a summer camp, just a week-long summer camp where I lived in the Appalachian Mountains in Cumberland, Maryland. And it was a little camp for 1 week, overnight camp, run by the Maryland Audubon Society. And it started my love for birds and nature, because I would go to this camp about 3 years in a row, right through end of elementary and into middle school, 9, 10. I think I was 10, 11, maybe 12 years old. And I would go to this place. It was called Carey Run Bird Sanctuary. And Carey Run was a stream that ran through this beautiful place. And this was the first time I had heard the word sanctuary. And I remember asking my mom, what does that mean? And she said, well, a sanctuary is a safe place we set aside for, in this case, for the natural world, for birds, for the beavers, for the animals that live there, that they know they're not going to be hunted down by human beings. They're going to be able to live in their environment. And you're going to go there and learn about the environment. And I was just, wow, I was so excited. I'd been to Girl Scout camp, but this was like, seemed a little more. And it was. I want to tell you, the 3 years that I went to Carey Run transformed my life. They really did. And in ways very deep, but I'm just going to mention a few. But there were about 10 girls who went to this camp, 10 to 12 girls, all different ages. There were 3 or 4 counselors, adult teachers, who taught us a lot of different things, how to build. We built trails, we learned about nature. There was a big farmhouse on the property, and we would sleep upstairs in the bedrooms, and where there were lots of bunks. And there was a cook, and oh man, she was a good cook. She served the best meals, and we'd eat outside on the picnic tables. Every morning we went at 6 a.m. for a bird walk and listened to all the birds and heard and learned their calls, and we collected fresh berries for our breakfast, and then we'd eat together. I mean, it was incredible. And at night, our favorite thing, these 12 girls, we would beg our counselors, can we go up on top of the hill? And we would drag our sleeping bags and our pillows way up quite a steep hill, but it was grassy. We could climb up it, lay out our sleeping bags all in a row, and sleep out under the stars. I still love to do this. And we would look up at the stars, and we would listen to the night. There was a whippoorwill that lived in the sanctuary that, sings at night. That just blew my mind. I love the song of the whippoorwill. Anyway, these were the kinds of experiences that I experienced in sanctuary. And every day we were told after our work was done and we had done our trail cleaning and we'd gone into the library and researched the signs we were making for the trail, and they would say, now, our counselors would say, now it's time for you to go find your spot anywhere on the grounds here and just sit there and be with nature, be quiet, be alone. For me, that was a little scary. I came from a family with 5 children, so I wasn't used to being alone too much. But there I was, sitting alone in the quiet with the natural world, experiencing whatever. And I remember thinking, I want to live on a farm someday. I want to have this always. I want to be here all the time. And many, many years later, when I went back to visit my parents, who still, while they were alive, still lived in Cumberland, I was in Cumberland, and I'll never forget this. I was a grown-up adult by then and had moved away to Chicago and Seattle. I came back to visit my parents, and I got a phone call from one of the girls who had been at that camp. And she still lived in the area, and she looked up my phone number, and she called me. She had heard that my mother had gotten lung cancer, and she was calling me to ask how she was doing. And I had not heard from her all those years. And I felt so connected to her. So, like I say, I've had a powerful experience with Sanctuary. And when we talked about renaming this community, Interfaith Community Sanctuary, that's all I could think about for months, was that here I'm back at Carey Run, and these are my people. So we're going to ask you to think about that in your own journey of life. Maybe you didn't have the word sanctuary for it. I was lucky. That place was called a sanctuary, so I could remember that word forever. But maybe you've had the feeling and the concept and the experience of a transformation in a sanctuary or around a sanctuary or because of a sanctuary. Now, sanctuary is not only an outer concept, it's also an inner concept. And if you've done much study with Jamal or ever worked with him, you will hear him and many other spiritual teachers, and even I had a therapist who also used this word, inner landscape or inner sanctuary. And I mean, that term also represents a safe place within our mind where maybe we're not hearing that critical voice or that punishing voice or that scary voice, which is disapproving of us or warning us of danger, but we're experiencing something more positive, more calm, more uplifting, more enriching. And as we meet people and they affect our lives and they impact our lives, somehow they get entryway into that inner sanctuary. And you meet them there sometimes and you interact with them. And sometimes you have teachers or important people in your life whose voice, maybe it's a grandmother's voice, or maybe it's a teacher's voice from the past, or someone who encouraged you, someone who inspired you, someone you've met, maybe someone you haven't met personally. But you can find them in your inner landscape sometimes, and you can interact with them. So this inner landscape, I want you to think for a minute. Have you experienced that? And have you ever thought of creating that for yourself? Maybe rearranging the furniture once in a while, or actually visualizing what it looks like, what it smells like, what it feels like. The inner sanctuary is a real possibility that we want to be thinking about, particularly today. And you'll have some help from Jamal on that in just a minute. And now I want to just touch on what can happen to us when we're in a sanctuary that may be less likely to happen when we're not. Okay? So what's the big deal? Do we just sit there and feel good? Do we feel happy? Do we feel joyous? Not necessarily. Like when my friend called me from the inner sanctuary and from the outer world and connected with me after all those 30, 40 years, it felt like yesterday. It felt like I was right in her presence. I was on the phone with her. I didn't even see her. But it was also a moment of sadness and a moment of touching tenderness, gratitude. Somebody thought of me in a way that I wouldn't have expected, in a caring way, from reaching out over many miles and over many years. So what can happen to us in a sanctuary is something creative, something transformative, actually. We might have shifts of awareness. We may have insights or inspiration. When we're in meditation, many of us I myself go to my inner sanctuary when I'm in meditation. And things happen there. And sometimes there are insights, sometimes there's just something washes over me, sometimes it's comforting, sometimes not. Sometimes the wave has to wash over me and then end up on the other side somewhere. You never know what's going to happen. But often, for me, there's a sense of inner peace, a sense of serenity, certainly a sense of safety. I have met people in my inner sanctuary purposefully. I've brought them there with Jamal's guidance and with teacher's guidance in a way that I can interact with them in a safe and comforting way. After my mother died, which was a very difficult experience for me, I've been able to commune with her in my inner sanctuary in a very beautiful, healing way and tell her things that I didn't get a chance to tell her when she died, before she died. And I can now when I have dreams about my parents, they're always, God, thanks be to God, they're always joyful, happy, comforting, and very natural. And I don't know that that would have happened if I hadn't had this opportunity to meet with them at times in my inner sanctuary, where we could talk things out a little bit and experience each other's love, deep love for each other. So you may find when you enter your sanctuary, whether it's an outer sanctuary or an inner sanctuary, the different experiences happen. And I'm asking you to just be a little bit aware of that. Be welcoming of those experiences if you feel comfortable. And if you have anybody in your life whom you really trust, don't be afraid to share those experiences, because sometimes sharing them in community will help you process what has happened. Not always. Sometimes you need to keep it within yourself, but there are always possibilities. I want to give one last example of a time when something was a sanctuary for me that surprised me. And you get surprises when you go into these types of concepts. And Jamal, this story involves you, and it was a Sunday service you had given many years ago. No, I never knew you when your hair was black. I've seen pictures. I know your hair was black at one time. But this was an anniversary of I think it might have been a relative of yours had died, or somebody had died. Mustafa, yeah. And you gave a talk, and in that talk, you mentioned an hadith, a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, where when he was asked before his death, the people knew he was coming near to the end of his life. He was winding down. He was giving other people authority to do the teaching and the instructing that he had been doing all those years. And people asked him, what will we do when you're gone? He would talk about his death, and they would say, no, we don't know what we're going to do when you're gone. Who will we go to? Who will we talk to? How will we know what to do? And he said, no. He said, you don't need teachers. You have the Holy Quran. You have your relationship with the divine. I am just a man like you. I will die. He said, but if you have a concern, a question, a problem, he said, I have one piece of advice. And they were all ears. What's he going to tell us? He said, consult your own death. If you need someone to consult, don't go to a priest or a teacher necessarily. I mean, you can talk to those people and get help from them. But if you really have a problem, a concern, an issue, you can't unravel. Consult your own death. Well, I know many of you know, if you've listened to Jamal's sermons, they kind of stay with you. Certain things stay with you afterward. After that service, I went home, I did my Sunday things, and I went for a walk in my neighborhood. That was when I lived up where your mom lives, Bryce, up in the northeast neighborhood there by Jackson Park. And I was taking a long walk in the neighborhood, and I was thinking, what does it mean, consult your own death? What could that mean? What could that mean? And I started, as I was walking, I got into this. I mean, I was young then. I didn't have to worry about tripping over the sidewalk, but I know I was not really watching where I was going. I was in this place in my mind, and I started thinking about, because I had a big problem on my mind at that time. I had a huge problem, and I didn't even have anybody I really felt comfortable talking to about it. And so this problem was running around my mind, and I thought, how am I going to consult my own death on this? What does that mean? What does it even mean? And I started thinking, and I started picturing myself, okay, I'm on my deathbed. I'm very sick. I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. This problem will still be with me when I die, because I can't imagine how I'm going to solve it. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it. And I swear something transformed in me. And I pictured myself asking myself, so what do you think about this problem? The problem completely vanished. And I was in this state. So I was walking, right, in the neighborhood. I was just walking. And suddenly, I began to cry because I realized I had this sense that the problem was in here, not out there. And that by the time I died, which whenever it was going to be, it wouldn't really matter anyway. That because the love was in my heart, and that would overspread everything. And it required love to overspread this problem. It required intense, deep, profound love. And that's what overcame it as I consulted my death. So in my mind, this was an experience of transformation that happened in the sanctuary of my walk in the natural world, where I felt safe. I was alone, but I was safe. I was joyful. I was in the out of doors. Everything was around me. And that's when I had that experience. So I'm encouraging you to think broadly about what this concept can mean. Don't be confined to somebody else's definition of it. Okay? Now, at this point, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to ask Jamal to lead us in a meditation, which I think you'll find will be very helpful, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Sister Sally Jo, for your heartfelt khutbah or talk, sermon. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you to, in silence, to go into your inner sanctuary. And let me quickly tell you something and summarize what Sister Sally Jo has just told you. If you study the world religions, there's certain criteria. What is a sanctuary? Whether it's outer or inner. There's one small difference, but there's some criteria of a sanctuary. Number one, any sanctuary, outer or inner meaning in your imaginal world, in your imagination. Number one, it has to be safe. That's number one. Are you safe there? Okay. Number two, it's a place of astonishing beauty. It has to be beautiful because our souls love beauty. Number three, it has to be a place of love. You called it inner peace. You feel inner peace. It's called sakina in Jewish and the Islamic tradition. But you feel loved here. It's an unconditional love. So think about it. Do you have a place, outer sanctuary, that is absolutely safe, beautiful, and you feel loved there? Now, inner sanctuary, same criteria, but one more. It's a place of magic, enchantment. You can fly here if you want to. You can summon anybody. A person living, deceased, friend, foe. So you can do anything you want to. It's a place of infinite possibilities. So now I'm going to ask you, think of an inner sanctuary. Safe, beautiful, filled with love, and a place of magical enchantment. Okay, that's one. And very quickly, once we go there, I want you to summon what is called your inner circle of love. We all need community. Again, there's one tiny difference. In the inner sanctuary, whoever it is you want to invoke as your inner circle of love, the only limitation is your belief system. It can be people, it can be animals, it can be angels, it can be historical beings, it can be none of those, but just Merlin the magician, for example, or nature, animals. So very quickly I want to ask you, who is it you'd like to invite in this inner sanctuary? And there's some gateways again. There is love between you and those members. Could be 1, could be 17. There is trust, so you can be vulnerable, because without vulnerability, there is no community. And number 3, this is from all the world traditions, there is love of truth. Like the Buddha said, find friends who love the truth, whatever that means to you. Love, trust, and love of truth, living the truth. Who is it you like to summon? Like I summon my parents, I summon Rumi, I can summon some biblical beings, I can summon animals, nature for sure. Okay, so let's just do it, and it's a very brief meditation. Close your eyes. Focus on your nostril and simply be present with your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. Just this much. Maybe see a color, but feel the breath. And as you follow the breath, you allow yourself, you give permission for your entire being, physically, emotionally, mentally, to become relaxed, calm, tranquil, only because you allow it. A couple more times, being present with the breath. And now, letting go of this, and this time, focusing on your heart. And the count of 1, I'll count from 10 to 1. At the count of 1, coming closer and closer and closer as you go through the heart, a magical organ. At the count of 1, ushering into your sacred sanctuary. Okay, focusing on the heart. 10, going deeper now through the heart to your inner sanctuary. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please find yourself ushered into your sacred sanctuary. Remember, this is a place where you are absolutely safe. And yes, please look around you. Please see, feel, sense the astonishing beauty of this place. It is so beautiful. The colors, the sights, the feeling. Beautiful. Our souls love beauty. And in this place, we feel so loved. In this place, there is no judgment, absolutely no judgment, only compassion, mercy, gentleness, love. Please just explore, go and touch something and feel its texture. Remember, whatever we do here is perfect, absolutely perfect. And now, one more quality. It's a place of magic, enchantment, infinite possibilities. You can summon here anybody you want to. You can fly here if you want to. Amazing place. This inner sanctuary, sacred sanctuary. You're being requested now to please summon your inner circle of love. Remember? There's love, there is trust, There is love of truth. And the only limitation is your belief system. People, animals, nature, magical beings, prophets. Summon them, please. It's a magical place. Please, just summon them. And they arrive. Look up, sense, feel. It's an enchanting, magical place. The moment you summon them, look up, sense, feel, see. They're arriving. And they're sending you wave after wave, vibration after vibration of the sweetest, deepest, unconditional love. Some of them, maybe all of them, you decide, come and touch you, hold you, embrace you. And we feel touched, held, embraced. At such a deep level, we feel so loved. Please, simply be there. And they remind you, your inner circle of love reminds us that it is in their nature to love you. And you're being requested to simply be there and allow yourself to be loved. And this vibration of love, which is cosmic, because it is so pure, is filled with healing, astonishing healing, physically, emotionally, mentally. It is empowering. It is transforming. And all we have to do is simply be open to receiving this love of healing and transformation. I'll be quiet now. Just be there, receiving. Just one more minute. And my suggestion is that 1 minute equals 1 year of receiving these cosmic vibrations. Nothing you have to do except being open to receiving these cosmic vibrations of healing, love, empowerment, transformation. Once again, be open to receiving, please. Feeling grateful, grateful, deeply grateful. And as we feel grateful, open to receiving, these vibrations go deep, deep, deep into every muscle, nerve, cell of our being, healing us physically, emotionally, mentally, empowering us, transforming us, and we feeling grateful. And now it's time to come into awareness. Please thank each member. You can always return here to your inner circle of love in this magical, sacred sanctuary. But for now, say goodbye to each member. You thank each one thanks you and blesses you. Please receive that blessing with gratitude. And now coming into awareness as I count numbers. Number 1, slowly, easily, gently coming into awareness. Number 2, feeling deeply grateful, refreshed. Number 3, feeling this vibration of healing, empowerment, transformation, going from head to toe. Again, feeling grateful. Number 4, becoming aware that we are the beloved of the beloved. All is perfectly well, no matter how it seems. All is perfectly well, no matter how it seems. And number 5, at your convenience, opening your eyes, let's do just one chant of Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah.
Thank you, Jamal. And Steve will help us to stay in that peaceful state for a little longer. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody, for all your contributions today. And now you get a chance to talk to and meet some of your fellow parishioners here. And we're going to have some small group discussions. We're going to get into groups of 3. And I'm looking to see, it looks like we can pretty much do it. we'll have one group of 2 maybe, but maybe Jamal will join that group so I can time everybody. And I really want you to stick with groups of 3 because we're each going to have a chance to answer a few questions and just talk to that little group of 3. Now, if you came with somebody today, I'm going to ask a favor, if you'd be so willing, to not sit with that person, but to sit with somebody maybe you don't know very well, at least. I mean, some of us know others, but this is also an opportunity to hear from somebody that maybe you haven't heard much from, and you'll get to go a little deeper and increase your connection with each other. So what I'll ask you to do in a minute is to gather into little groups of 3 chairs where you're facing each other. And after everybody's settled, and we have 3 chairs and groups all around, now the people at home, we're not going to turn off the live stream yet, and I'll tell you why. Because I know there are some people at home who want to participate in this, and some of them are at home with a partner. I know that, for example, Max and Kathy are home, both of them not feeling well, and I want to give them a chance to go through this exercise with us and talk to each other. I know Gretchen's at home, and she particularly asked me, can you please keep the recording on so we can hear the questions? I said, absolutely. So if you have somebody at home to talk to, or if not, you could journal about the questions. That would also be very helpful. And then later, perhaps you would share with somebody. And if you're here, we'll get into little groups, and then I'll tell you the question, and I'll ask each member of the question to spend a minute or 2 answering that question to the people you're with, and just see what comes up, okay? There are no rules except just reflect on what you're hearing. So let's get up, make a little noise by getting our chairs. If you can pick up your chairs, that'd be great, but they'll also slide around, and get into little groups of 3, and please don't get into groups of 4. And there might be one group of 2 that Jamal would join. And take your little program with you, because you'll see that the questions are in that program as well, but I'm also going to be telling you the questions. They're on the opposite side of the Sunday service at the bottom, but we'll take them one at a time. So groups of 3, and if you're facing each other, let's see, we need one more person here. Do you want to scoot around here? Okay, so you can be good with them. So Jamal, okay, so 3, you guys are 3. Are you guys looking for a 3rd person? Okay, Lee, you want to come over here? Okay, Lee will join you. Lee needs a person, so. Okay, well, but he's so close. I'll bring his chair up. That's good. You're going to sit with Dave and Wakil. That way your sound won't overlap. Okay, very good. Oh, we actually did it. Okay, now, when I ring the bell, in fact, let's get everybody's attention a minute. So the first question, it's on the back side of your program, not very back, but the inside. It says questions for discussions today, and you're going to be given 2 minutes each person to answer. Let's start with the first question. It says, try to recall and describe a time when you discovered a personal sanctuary in your life. What happened? So just sit for a minute with that and think of if you can recall or describe a time in your life when you discovered a personal sanctuary and what happened at that point. And I'm going to give you time to think about it. When I ring the bell, then let's say the youngest person in the group will start and answer, and then you'll go around in a circle. Okay? So think about it a minute. And when I ring the bell, okay, don't talk yet. Think about it. And when I ring the bell, the first person can start, and then I'll ring the bell in 2 more minutes so you can remember to kind of move around the circle so everybody gets a chance. 2 minutes each. You ready? It's 11 o'clock. That's perfect timing. Okay, here we go. First person. Go for it. Okay. Time to switch. Finish your sentence, and then time to switch to the second person in the group if you haven't already. Okay, time to go to the third person. If you can make a transition so the third person can answer that first question. Recall and describe a time when you discovered a personal sanctuary in your life. Okay, let's see if you can finish your sentence a minute. And let's everybody get real quiet for a second. You'll have some more time here in a minute. We're going to move on to the second question. And this time I want you to start with the oldest person in your group, if there is such a thing. And the second question is, what does your inner sanctuary look like, feel like, contain? Who is there? Is it real or imagined? Now, you just had a meditation of that, but you may want to switch it up. Anyway, we'll go around the circle again and give everybody 2 minutes in the opposite direction to answer this question, number 2. And it's in there if you need to look at it. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's switch to the next person to answer the question about your inner sanctuary. Okay. Now the third person will answer this same second question. Thank you. Okay, thank you all for sharing. Let's take a moment of silence here. We've had some wonderful conversations, I can tell. We're going to go into our third question. And the third question is really about transformation. It says, can you remember experiencing a deep shift in awareness that somehow changed your worldview? Or have you ever discovered a sense of deep inner peace and joy in the present moment, wherever you were in that moment? And you're going to be asked to describe it. So let's take a minute for everybody to think. This is a different kind of question. Experiencing a deep shift of awareness or a sense of deep inner peace and joy in the present moment. And we'll each have 2 minutes, and I'm going to ask the person to start who lives the closest to Interfaith Community Sanctuary, and go around from there. You ready? Time to switch to the second person to answer this question, if you can. Bring that to a close. Okay, now the last person will have a chance to answer the last question for today, which is the same one. Experiencing a deep shift in awareness that changed your worldview or a sense of deep inner peace and joy in the present moment. Last time, let's go for it. Thank you. Okay, thank you all so much for opening your hearts to each other, for sharing with each other, and you can thank each other for that deep time. And let's quietly get up and kind of put our chairs back in our semicircle so we can finish up here with our announcements. And we're almost finished now, and thank you all so much. If there are still people at home who are with us, thank you for being here and for sharing this activity. And this is a time when, besides opening our hearts and sharing our hearts, we share our wealth with each other. We share our wealth with the community so that we can accomplish all these wonderful tasks, like Joey's recent task of cleaning, which was so beneficial to the whole sanctuary and allowed us to really bring light to the place, and the windows are going to be cleaned this weekend. The carpets have been cleaned, and all the wonderful, wonderful tasks that Joey has been organizing. We're so grateful to her and for all the people who accomplished that. Our volunteer hours are part of our offering to our community, and we're deeply grateful for that. And we also appreciate any extra you can give us to keep the lights on and the furnace running and the plants planted, and we're very, very grateful for everything that you all contribute at all times, including those at home who go online and donate through the website. We also have many upcoming gatherings that are also on our website, interfaithcommunitysanctuary.org, and I'm not going to go through them all today because we're trying to end by 11:30 so we can have our lunch, taco bar lunch, and lots of other treats, and lots of ice cream for dessert. I just want you to know that. Save a little room for dessert, and cookies. And we also have, of course, our membership retreat, which Jamal mentioned at the beginning of the service. That will happen starting at noon. And we have a couple of other. How many of you liked talking to each other today on these deeper questions? Did you like that? It wasn't too uncomfortable for anybody, I hope. If you like that, you need to join us for Dinner with Others, which is happening this coming Saturday. And it's a similar experience, although you never know what question you're going to get. And you still have a couple of minutes to answer it in a group, in a small table group. And the questions are all designed to help us get to know each other on a deeper level and on a personal level. This is going to be held not here, but at the Linwood, Unity of Linwood, which is about, 40 minutes up the road here, and on Saturday, April 5th. Now, if you're going to the Day of Action Saturday, I might see you down at the Seattle Center, but that's in the afternoon. We can still make it up to dinner, and we're going to be hungry by then. So, and there's a good dinner being planned, a delicious dinner being planned with soup and salad and vegetable biryani and all kinds of wonderful dishes and dessert. That will be Saturday, April 5th. It is free. I mean, we ask a $5 registration fee, and we do ask that you register so we have enough food for everybody. And right now, I haven't gotten the latest count, but we're expecting 80 people. I think we have at least 50 now. Yeah. So we have to register to make sure we have enough table space and food to feed you all on Saturday, April 5th. There will be other dinners in the future, but this is the next one. And then, of course, Jamal is starting his new spiritual development class, which is online on Zoom, starting April 19th through May 24th. That's Saturday mornings from 10 to noon. Every Saturday starting April 19th and going through the 24th of May. These are wonderful classes that include meditations, discourses, small group discussions on Zoom, very popular, the discussions, and then large group question and answer time. And this is, you do have to register with me to get it, to have that class, because I have to send you the Zoom link, and there is a small fee for this class. This is part of Jamal's livelihood, so we'll give him a little bit of hope in that, and hope that you can join us. The topic of the class is interspiritual wisdom and practices, interspiritual wisdom and practices for troubled times. You know what? We're all in a little bit of troubled times, one way or the other. There's a lot of trouble. So we will be working on ways to deal with that in ourselves, and we look forward to that. And also, Jamal's new book has just come out. We're so excited. Fragrance of the Quran. This is your 9th book, right? And it's a beautiful book. I know because I helped him type it up on some levels. and it's available on Amazon.com right now. And we encourage you, if you're interested in getting.
Made by 6 months by a publisher from England who did it. They were very slow. I'm surprised. Yeah. Tiny came out. Yes. They never applied for that if you're interested.
Yeah, and we'll, there'll be in the next class that Jamal gives, probably in the fall, will be based on that book. But anytime you want to read it, it's great. And then I know there are other weekly gatherings and upcoming gatherings. Is there anything special that anyone wants to announce right now before we end our service and go into our last little few minutes of prayer time? Any other announcements? Okay. We please go online and check our classes, because almost every night of the week there are different classes, gatherings, meditation groups, and we do encourage you to come to whatever interests you and speaks to you. Okay? So we'll say goodbye to our friends online, if anybody's still hanging out there, and let's take just a minute if anybody would like to offer